Hi guys, what's up? Welcome back to another Vlogmas video. So today is day 3 of our Vlogmas series. So it is, I believe it's 22 days until Christmas. So I hope you guys are getting all of your stuff ready for Christmas, getting your shopping done for all those gifts, and getting all that fun stuff done. If you haven't decorated yet, I hope you're doing that soon. But today I wanted to get on here and kind of share with you guys how to set up a budget. I feel like that this is a really good time of the year to kind of start talking about that, because I feel like this is the time of year when people start to realize, I didn't save up for Christmas. I don't have a ton of money to work with, and you're kind of trying to figure things out. Sometimes you have kids and you're like, oh my goodness, how am I going to pay? I want my kids to have a good Christmas, but I didn't save for it this year. And you kind of start to look around and you're like, okay, so what can I do to kind of prepare myself for next year? And you kind of start seeing all of these videos about getting on budget, and you kind of make that New Year's resolution. Hey, in January, first of the year, I'm going to start, my budgeting journey. I'm going to get things straightened out, and I'm going to get on the right track, so I'm in a better financial position next year. So I just wanted to kind of share that with you guys today, how to kind of get started with a budget. So we got our paper here and a pen, and let me kind of see if I can zoom you guys in a little bit. I want you to be able to see as we are writing there. So let's see. I always have such a hard time with my phone when I go to zoom in. Okay, I think that's pretty good. So hopefully you guys can see that. All right, so what is the first thing that you kind of need to do when you want to get started with budgeting? So what we do, or what I do, is I just kind of make two different categories. So I write down all of my bills that I have to pay each month, and then I'll write down my debts that I currently have. So let me just check that. Yeah, I think you guys can see that sort of okay. So let's see. Yeah, I think you guys can see that. So for us, the bills that we currently have, so the first thing that we pay every single month is our church tithes. So I realize that's not really a bill, but I'm just gonna put it in this category because it's not a debt, and it's just something that we pay every single month. So I'm gonna write down our bills that we have. So we're gonna write church tithes, and then next up for us, we have a cell phone bill. So cell phone. Then we have our electric bill. Then we have an internet bill. And then we have TV. So we have a couple of different streaming services. So I just, it all comes out of my credit card each month. And so I just make like one payment. I know how much everything is all together. And so I just pay it, each month. All right, and then debts. So for us, we only have 2 debts currently. So we have my daughter's braces. So we're working on paying that off. And then we have a lawnmower. So, and you may have other stuff. You may have, a credit cards. You may have, a car loan. You may have, anything like that. So you would put that over here under your debts as well. So you might put credit card number 1, credit card number 2. You might put your car loan, just whatever you owe money on. So when I first started doing this, I had so much debt. We've always had a car payment. We had maybe like one time, like 3 or 4 months where we didn't have a car payment. And then our car got into an accident and we had to buy a new one. So we took out a new loan, and we've always had a car payment until just the last few months. So hopefully that keeps going well and we don't end up with a car payment, but that's where you would write all of that. So anything that you owe money on, you would put there. All right, so that's how I get started. And then for me, what I do, and I'm just gonna kind of give you guys like an example. This isn't necessarily our exact income or anything like that. This is just kind of a broad generalization. So we are a single income family. So my husband works, I stay home, I homeschool our kids. So we base our budget off of my husband. He gets paid weekly. So he gets 4 paychecks a month, and then he has another, I don't really want to call it a job, but he has another thing that he does where he does get paid another $1,000 a month. So that's why you'll see my budget, it'll have that $1,000. He gets that at the first of the month, and then he'll have like each of his regular paychecks. So what you want to do is you're going to write down like your income for the month. So for us, my husband gets $1,000 at the beginning of the month. All right, so he gets that, and then average he gets paid like around $750 a week. Sometimes it's more than that, sometimes it's less. So he gets paid each week. So usually each month has, you know, four paychecks. So we've got $750, $750, $750, and $750. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to look at, you know, what you spend each week as far as like your weekly like spending money. For us all together, we spend usually around $300 each week. So that is our groceries, our gas. Let's see, what else? My daughter, she takes piano lessons, so that covers that. We add in some eating out, and then we have a miscellaneous like buffer, just extra spending money. So we do that. That's kind of our budget each week as far as what we spend. So you're gonna write that down for each week. So your spending may be higher than that, yours may be lower than that. You know, that's just kind of an idea for you guys. For us, we usually spend around $100 a week on groceries. I know a lot of people spend way more than that. So, you know, you would adjust that to yours. Maybe your income's higher than ours, you know, whatever. So you would just kind of adjust that for yourself. So you're gonna go through and you're gonna subtract that off. So that should leave us with $450 each week to work with. All right, and so then you're gonna go through and you're gonna look at your bills, you're gonna look at your debts, and let me pause you guys for just one second. So then you're gonna go through and you're gonna look at all of your bills, all of your debts, and then you're gonna write down how much they are each month. So for us, I'm just gonna start here with our bills. So our church tithes, we pay $500 every month. That is more than like 10% of our income, but that's what we want to pay. So yours might be, you know, you might be higher, you might be lower, and you may not, that might not be something that you pay. So next up is our cell phone. I budget $200 every single time. Our bill is like right around $196, but I keep it at $200 just in case it ends up like going up. So that's what I do. We do have we have 4 phones on our plan. So electric, so we budget, usually our bill is like around $120. Sometimes it will be a little bit higher in like the peak of summer and in the peak of winter. So I have been allotting a little bit extra to that, but that's just kind of like an average. So next up is our internet. Our internet is $68 each month. And then our TV, so all of our subscriptions together is around $95. Okay, and then next up, you're gonna look at your debts. So what I like to do here is just write down what your minimum payments are on these. So for us, we have my daughter's braces, that's $123 a month. Next up, we have lawnmower, that is $153 a month. And so we don't have a credit card, we don't have, you know, we don't have any of this. But if you did, so what you would do is you would write down whatever your minimum payment is for this. So you might write, you know, maybe $58, and credit card number 2 is like $112. You know, and that's just kind of a you know, a roundabout figure. So a car loan, you would put whatever you pay each month for that. I know when we were making our payments on our car loan, we were paying $330 a month. So you would just write all of that down there. And then next up, you want to start figuring out how you're gonna pay each of these things. So for us, we like to pay our church tithes at the beginning of the month. So we pay that right out of this extra $1,000 we have each month. So that's gonna be church tithes. So, and that leaves us $500 to work with there, and you just kind of go through and check those off as you write them down. So what we've been doing is we've been paying all of our bills out of this this extra paycheck. So our cell phone's $200, so I'm gonna write that there. So cell phone, and that leaves us with $300 there. And then next up's our electric. It's a $120. So electric. So that's going to leave us with $180. Okay, and then our internet's up next. That's going to be $68. So internet. So that leaves us with $112. And then next up's going to be our TV. So $95 for TV. So that is going to leave us with $17 to work with from that. So what I've been doing for me, I've just been leaving that there as like extra because I know some months our electric bill is higher. So I just put that towards that. And then I have kind of a little bit of a buffer for the months where it's higher. Now, if you're doing like, if you have like, you know, several debts and you're working to pay down your debts, you might not do that each month. You might take that $17 and put it towards, you know, your debt, because every little bit that you can put towards that debt to pay it down is, you know, a step in the right direction, and it helps you get it paid off that much faster. And you might be looking at that and you're like, $17, that's not a ton. But if you have $17 left over from each of these paychecks, you know, that's almost $100 extra that you're able to put towards that. So that's just kind of how we do it. So that took care of all of our bills. And then next up, and also, now if you're scheduling your bills out, if you don't pay them all at the beginning of the month, you want to look at the due dates. So that's something that you would also might want to write down. So we would put like, this is due on the 1st. Our cell phone is due, I think it's around the 10th. So you want to make sure that you get these paid, you know, before they're due. Our electric is due at the end of the month, I think like the 26th. Internet, I think that's due around the 20th. I don't worry so much about my due dates just because I always pay everything at the beginning of the month, so it's not like a huge deal for me. So next up, you're gonna go over. So I kind of feel like it's more important to get your bills paid than your debts. So you're gonna look at your debts and see, you know, which one's the most important, which one has to be taken care of. More than likely, if you have a car payment, you know, that's gonna be your main focus when you start adding those in. So like for us, our car payment was due at the end of the month, so we would always pay it these last 2 weeks. We would pay half each time. So that's what we did. But for this, let's see, our lawnmower is due on the 10th, I believe it is. So I pay that out of our first paycheck. So it's $153. So that is for our lawnmower. And so that's going to leave us with, let's see, $297 there. So that took care of our lawnmower. And then next up is going to be our braces. So it is due on the, I want to say like the 20th. So this is due on the 20th, and no, wrong one. Sorry. Our braces is due on the 20th, so I'm gonna write that there. And then our lawnmower is due, it's due on like the 10th, I believe. Okay, so next up we're gonna do our braces. So it's $123 a month, so we pay that out of our next paycheck. So that's gonna leave us with $327 there, so that is braces. All right, so that kind of takes care of all of our bills that we have to pay and all of our debts that we have to pay. If you have more, you know, you would put, like, if you have a credit card, you know, you would subtract it, you know, here, or you might move these around just depending upon the due dates. So you're going to write down everything that you have to pay each month, and you're going to figure it out and see what you have left. So like, this is what we have left to work with. So this first week we have $297, $327, and then $450 and $450. And another thing that we've been doing, we've been putting aside money for a new car, just because we don't want to wind up back with a car payment, or at least if we have to get a car payment, you know, we don't want it to be super expensive. We want to be able to put quite a bit down. So we are putting $100 towards a new car, and so that's important to us, so that's what we are doing. All right, so it takes care of that. And then what I do is we do sinking funds each week. That may not be something, if you're just getting started budgeting, that might not be something that you are able to put money towards right away, and that's okay. You know, you can, once you start paying down your debt, you will have more money to work with, so you'll be able to do that. When we first started, we were, you know, just paying everything every month, and we didn't have a lot of money left over to work with. So, but I do, so this is kind of what I do in my budget. So I do $80 each week towards our sinking funds. And so what I do is on Thursdays, I put $60 in towards that, and then our Friday night game night gets the other 20. So we're gonna take that off of each one of these weeks. Write everything down. And you want to make sure you're writing everything down, that way you know what you're doing. So I didn't write that for these where I was just doing my spending money for the week, but you can do that. And for you may need to break that down. You may need to be like, okay, I'm putting 100 towards groceries, you know, 60 towards gas. If that's what works for you, then, you know, write it all down. All right, so we've got 80 going towards our sinking funds here. And then 80 towards sinking funds here. Okay, and then for me, what I do, the last 2 weeks out of the month, I put $60 towards our savings challenges. Okay, and then 60 towards our challenges. And so this is where, you know, maybe you're not doing sinking funds, you're putting that $80 each time towards, you know, credit card 1, credit card 2, credit card 3, credit card 4. You know, this is where the budget becomes more personal. All right, so I've got that, and then this is what I have left to kind of work with every month. So this may be what's left over, and that's what you pay your mortgage out of. More than likely you're gonna budget that first. We don't have a mortgage, we don't have rent, that's just not, you know, that's not a bill that we currently have. So so next up, so for us, we do use our credit card sometimes. So I budget like $50 each week that goes towards our credit cards. Sometimes I use it. Right now I've been doing Christmas, so I've been using it, but you know, I don't always use that. So we're just gonna put that on each one of these. That way it's there if I need it. So, and we pay our credit card off every month. So, all right, so. Let's see, let me write it on here because I don't want to forget what I'm doing. Let's see. Okay, and then, you know, you may be putting this leftover money more towards sinking funds, or, you know, for us, we've just been mostly putting that in the bank just to kind of build up our our bank account as well. That way if something comes up, we always have that emergency fund to kind of fall back on. So so you may be looking at this and you're like, she has a lot of money left over each week. You know, I'm putting everything I have towards, you know, making the minimum payments on my cards, right? So usually what happens, I want to say it happens like 3 or 4 times a year. Sometimes you have what's called a magic month. So you'll have a month where you get paid 5 times in that one month. This is how we were able to pay off our debt. And so because we were doing that, we were paycheck to paycheck, you know, everything was going towards the bills every single month. So once you have, so when you look at your thing and you have that extra week, and you should get those if you know, if you're a weekly budgeter, you should have, I want to say 4 times a year, it might be 3, where you have a month where you'll get paid 5 times that month. So what you would do is, so I've got my 4 times here. So on that magic month, you're going to have your extra paycheck. So I'm just going to write it down here to kind of show you guys what I'm talking about. And hopefully that's still in frame. My phone is beeping that it's going dead. So hopefully you guys can see that. All right, so we're going to take out our $300 each week for our spending money. And that leaves us with $450 right there. So what you're gonna do on that extra month is, hold on, I'm trying to get the notification off of my phone. There we go. That way I can make sure that you guys can see. Okay, so so you've got $450. You've got all your bills paid for the month, and you have this extra money to work with. So what we did was we would take every bit of that and put it towards our lowest debt. So if our balance, and I didn't write down balances, but that's what you're going to want to do. You're going to write down, you know, okay, so I've got credit card number 1, balance is, and I recommend putting them from the lowest to the highest, just because once you pay one off, then you're able to put that extra money that you were paying, you know, each week towards the next debt. So you say you got credit card 1, credit card number 2, credit card number 3, and car loan. So you're going to write down the balance for each one of those. Okay, and so then you're going to look at it and you're going to be like, okay, so credit card 1, I'm just going to make up some numbers just to kind of give you guys an idea. So we're going to go with $600 there. Credit card number 2 might be $1,300. Credit card number 3 might be, you know, $1,600. And then your car loan, you might owe, you know, I don't know, $4,500. Okay, so when you get those magic months and you have this extra money, what you're going to do is you're going to put all of that directly towards whatever that lowest balance is. So you're going to take $450 off of that. Now your balance should go down a little bit. I'm not sure if it'll go down a lot if you're only making the minimum payments, but once you have that magic month, you are able to pay quite a bit off. So you take that $450 off, then you only owe $150 more on that. So, you know, you're going along and you go a few more months and you get another magic month. So you've got your $750, and then you take out your spending money for the week and it leaves you with $450. So your balance now on that one credit card is only $150. So you're able to go ahead, pay that off. So that is checked off, that's paid for, right? And then you can start working towards this next credit card. So you've got $300 extra from that second magic month that you were able to put towards that credit card. So that leaves your balance at, you know, $1,000 on that credit card now. And so then when you go back through and you do your budget for the next month, you would have, like, so if you were making credit card number 1, so say you were paying, you know, $50 here towards that credit card number 1, now you can put that towards credit card number 2, and that's where you are able to start paying it off faster, because you are paying a little bit extra each month, and then you will also have those magic months that still come up, and you are able to put, you know, a bigger payment towards that. So hopefully that kind of makes sense to you guys. And that is kind of how we went through, and we were able to pay off most of our debt. We do have, you know, just a couple of things left that we are working on. In the last few months, we've only been paying the minimums on those. But hopefully, starting at the beginning of the year, we can start doing extra towards those. So yeah, that's just kind of a general idea of how you want to get started and how you can work on paying that down. And then once you start paying off your debt, you are able to put more money towards those like sinking funds, like I'm doing here. I put 80 each week. So that's where you are able to start saving up for like Christmas, or, you know, like car repairs, or anything that you know is going to come up. So you just have to sit down and decide what are the highest priority sinking funds for you, and how can you make that work for your budget. So I believe that's all I have for you guys today. If you have any questions at all, feel free to comment down below, and I will try to answer those for you. And I believe that's all I have for you guys. I will see you guys back here. I should have another Vlogmas video up for tomorrow. And yeah, if you're new here and you enjoyed the content and you haven't subscribed, please consider hitting the subscribe button and helping me grow my channel. I'll see you guys back here next time. Bye.